Good afternoon, folks. How you doing today? I'm doing okay, in case you're wondering. I came on to talk to you about relationships. We've all had our ups and downs with relationships. Be it marriages, be it family, kids, employers, coworkers, friends, neighbors, any kind of relationship. Let's talk about the ups and downs. When we're in a relationship, let's talk marriage first. We look so forward to that commitment. And then the commitment finally comes. Be it a wedding day, be it an engagement ring, whatever the case may be. We're so happy. We see nothing but happiness and joy, and our heart fills with fulfillment. And we're just nothing can take that happiness away from us. And jump forward 5 years. You're committed, you're together, you're living together, and you're noticing this kinda irritates you, and maybe that sentence that was said to you didn't come out quite right, and it really set you off, and you're noticing these inconsistencies, these just it takes that spark in your heart, and it dims that spark, and it's like, what happened to that bliss? What happened to that fulfilled feeling? What when I walk in the door, where's the hug? Where's the smile? Where's the, "I can't wait to get home and be together"? It changes. Take a neighbor. You're best friends with this neighbor when you first bought the house, right? Best friends. You get together, you have a beer over the fence together. You sit down at the picnic table and have a barbecue with the families. And then all of a sudden, yeah, let's just pretend. All of a sudden, a storm comes, knocks down a portion of the fence, and you're sitting there looking at it thinking, well, it's his fence. I'm not going to worry about it. Now he's in his house thinking, well, fell on his side of the yard. Let him pick it up. Well, there, you and your neighbor have different views. You butt heads, turns into an argument, turns into aggression. All of a sudden, that relationship is severed. Your coworkers. You share duties at work. You go out to lunch together. Everything's jiving right? Everything is good. Then the boss walks up to you and the other coworker and says, "Here's this project. I want it done by 5 o'clock. And it better be right." But doesn't give you instructions. Boss walks away. You're sitting there looking at it and you're like, "Okay, I got the answers. I think I know." You go up to the coworker. Coworker's like, "I got this. I got the answers. I think I know." And you're sitting there going, "All right, well, I got my ideas. What's yours?" Totally the opposite. Well, if we're supposed to work together, I got the yin, you got the yang, and they don't fit to make this project work. You're insistent your idea is going to work. Your coworker's ideas, he is insistent her idea is the best. You butt heads. You can't come to a happy medium. You want your ideas put down there. They want their ideas put down there. But your boss only wants one solution. So whose solution is it going to be? You can't come together. You go out for a beer after work after that? Kind of don't think so. You butt heads. Not such a good worker after all, huh? You really thought you were friends with that coworker. Now you're seeing the stubbornness of that coworker, or that coworker seeing your stubbornness. Kind of sours the relationship, right? Let's take your kids. You do everything all your life for them. Get them out of their scrapes and their bumps in the road and try to help them up. And as they're growing, give them good advice and teach them how to do things. And got to save their ass a couple of times. We all do it. We all do it. Some carry their kid a little more than the other, but we all do it. Then they grow up, find the love of their life, and walk out the door. Do they come back? Not so much. You get the phone calls? Not so much. Maybe you might get a text on your birthday. Maybe you might see them on the holiday. You ask yourself, "What happened? What happened?" Maybe the spouse don't like you. Maybe your child had to pick a side. What happened? You ask yourself, your marriage falls apart. All of a sudden, your spouse comes to you and hands you divorce papers. What? I didn't see this coming. What happened? Or maybe you presented the divorce papers and your spouse is thrown back and like, "What? What? What? It was only an argument." These things happen to everybody, whether it be a friendship, a neighbor, a spouse, your child. Maybe you're not invited to the relatives get together anymore. Makes you wonder, why? Why? But what you don't realize is people change. We change. So then we have to think of the reality. We got to look at the pros and the cons. What could we have done better? Should we have done better? Maybe it was time for us to see what that person was really all about. Is my life better without that person in it? Maybe we just need to focus more on ourselves. Maybe our life is better without that person. Maybe it was meant to be. Maybe it's time to find happiness in a different direction. Maybe all that you expected from that one person is not all it was meant to be. Things happen for a reason. And many, many times we don't know the reason, at least not right away. But in time, we come to realize maybe 2, 3, 4 months, maybe a year on down the line, you look back and you think, wow, I've really achieved a lot since I've let that go. Let me give you an example. Not going to mention names, just an example. There was this woman trying to make a story out of this. There was this woman who lived with the love of her life. And then all of a sudden, he comes home and says, "It's over. I found somebody else." This woman is devastated. Devastated. Never saw that coming. Never. No hints, no clues, no nothing. Smacked her right up the side of the head like a train, she just never expected that. Separation came. Years go on. Of course, she went her own way, found somebody else. But it was always in the back of her mind. If I made a mistake, I don't want that to happen in this relationship. What it still not at her. 20 years later, it's still not. What in the world happened? Well, then all of a sudden, she starts digging. Social media is great. You could find out about anybody on social media. This person I know went on social media to look up that original breakup. It turns out what she saw on that social media was absolutely nothing that she would have ever approved of. The lifestyle, disgusting. The environment, never. She looked at that, and when she realized what he turned into, which had he not walked out, she'd have been stuck with that. But that's when she realized he did her the hugest blessing ever, because the way he turned out years later is absolutely against all of her morals, against all of her beliefs, against all of the way she wanted to live her life. So it just goes to show you there's a reason for everything. God takes people in and out of our lives all the time. We don't know why, but he does. And we have to have faith. If someone walks out of your life, wish them a blessed life. Sit back and go on with your own life. You'll find more friends, maybe better friends. That person obviously had to change, and that's why they walked away. Will they come back? Maybe. Maybe they'll realize, hey, I was kind of stupid. I should have never let that one go. But in a lot of cases, it's a blessing that you never saw coming. Sometimes we have to find our new people. Sometimes when life throws us that type of a curve, we have to accept, respect, sit back and assess, and then move on. And if we think it's something we did, maybe we need to do better. If it's something that we couldn't help, oh well, it wasn't meant to be in the first place. The whole point of all this that I just went through, we got to live one day at a time. We can't hold on to our past mistakes. We can't hold on to our past judgments. First of all, we shouldn't make judgments on anybody else if we can't accept our own judgment. If we're not willing to see within our own self, then we have no right looking inside someone else's moral compass. So let's start looking within, living within. And if we trip along the way, catch yourself and get back up and keep going. If someone walks out of your life, don't force the person back in. It just wasn't meant to be. People that are meant to be in your life, you'll attract that. Have faith. Two like-minded people will always join together. A yin and a yang will never fit together. I hope this made sense. I hope you got something out of this. Everybody needs space. Everybody needs time. And if people change, we can't stop that. If we change, trust, have faith that it's for the better. You have a wonderful afternoon. God bless you all. Please hit that like button. Please subscribe and share this out to anybody that might need to hear it. Have a wonderful afternoon.